Hello, and my name is Nicola Green and welcome to the health section on KLTV. Today we have my guest, Angela Glasgow, a clinical hypnotherapist and teacher with us to talk about depression. Hi Angela.
Hi.
So what is depression, Angela?
Okay, depression is feeling a little bit low in mood, feeling a little bit down, and maybe being a little bit lethargic. Our appetite might change a little bit. We may lose interest in the things that we've normally found interesting. We might not want to socialise as much. Unfortunately, like being low in mood, depression is not something that's just going to clear up, without any form of intervention, and recovery would be really quite slow without a therapist or any GP intervention. There's different types of depression, and the different types of depression will be worked with and dealt with very differently. What I see in my clinic a lot of is environmental depression. So that's the kind of depression that comes about because of life, because life's not always great, is it? So we may have suffered a bereavement, we may have been made redundant, we may have suffered the loss of a pet. Whereas clinical depression, there's something wrong with the makeup of the brain, so the transmitters are maybe not working correctly, and the nerve cells and the happy drugs, if you like, are not there. So it's a little bit of a chemical imbalance. How we experience it is a very personal thing. So it's on a one-to-one basis, really. So a whole array of symptoms.
So is anxiety linked to depression then?
Yeah, it certainly is. In fact, anxiety and depression is the most common form of mental ill health within the UK. They tend to come hand in hand. What I tell my students when I'm teaching is that actually if we've got depression, we're stuck in the past, because it's normally something that's happened that we're struggling to move on from. With anxiety, what we're doing is we're worrying about where we are, and we've probably got a loss of control, and we're worrying about the future, things that we can't control because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And the symptoms with anxiety are very different to that with depression, but because they come together, sometimes it can be very difficult for the individual to actually identify without visiting the GP initially. And anybody that I work with, most certainly, they've always had some input from their GP first. I won't work with them unless they have.
Right, okay. And you're a hypnotherapist, so
I am.
Does hypnotherapy help?
It certainly does, yes. As we said, anxiety and depression brings a whole host of symptoms with it, but we don't just deal with the symptoms, we have to deal with the root cause. So we have to understand and know what's actually caused the depression in the first place, such as the loss of the cat or the loss of the job or being dumped. So we would deal with that. We would deal with the root cause, and then we would look at working with the depression that's been caused as a result of that event.
Okay. So for those people at home, Angela, have you got 5 tips that they can use at home now?
Yes, definitely. Self-care is one thing that I promote all the time. It's really important. So my 5 top tips are: eat well. Most people are rushing about today, and we don't put the right kind of fuel into our body. This is a vehicle, and to keep it tip-top, we have to eat a nutritious, well-balanced diet. I think some people look after the cars better than they actually look after their own bodies, don't they? They take it for servicing, So the fast food is nice and tasty, but it's not healthy, and it's certainly not nutritious. So always eat a well-balanced diet. Sleep is paramount. The sleep cycle, it's one of the first things that we'll work with, getting back online and correcting when working with somebody with depression and anxiety. So it's really important that we have a good 8 hours sleep. Not everybody's the same. Some people only need 6 or 7, and that's fine, I'm not being literal here, but a good night's sleep, and certainly not living off 2 or 3 hours, and then rushing about to to the next thing. Breathing is top. Lots of people that have got anxiety, all we have to do is watch them and we can see the way that they're breathing, because they'll be breathing from the top part, the quadrant of the chest, and it'll be up and down very quickly. And what's happening there is that the body is not allowing the oxygen to be circulated correctly, and for our body to take the benefit from the oxygen, which causes a lot of the physiological changes within the body, which then just exacerbates the anxiety. So breathing, 10 minutes every day, just sit with your hands on your tummy. Okay, and breathe nice and deep. Our lungs are big organs, so if we're filling our lungs, we should be lifting our diaphragm, so our stomach should be coming up first, and then the rest of our chest. So just practice 10 minutes a day, filling the whole of your lungs, slow breathing and slow release, and allow your body to take the benefit from that. And there's walking. You know, most people like to get in the cars and take the kids to school in the car, but just 5-10 minute walk each day, get that fresh air. Exercise, we know that builds up and releases lots of good chemicals in within our body, and also yoga, meditation, that kind of thing, because that focuses on the breathing, so it has a massive impact on our mental well-being.
I can imagine it does.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to thank Angela for joining us today, and I hope that you found this section helpful. If you have, you can comment on this or any other production that KLTV does, as usual. But for now, thank you for watching KLTV.
Thank you.